Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Adam Garcia. Welcome back to the channel. This is My Life in the Blue Line. I know that I said that I wanted to keep this channel kind of uplifting and inspiring, but unfortunately, things are happening in the world that I just kind of feel like I need to address. And unfortunately, last week we had another mass shooting that took place, and again, I feel that this is one of those things that I need to address because, I mean, we kind of already know the routine on this one, right? Conservatives are going to say, you know what, we offer our thoughts and prayers. Liberals are going to say, oh, screw your thoughts and prayers. We want your guns. They're going to call each other names back and forth for a little while, and then all that's going to go away, and then we get back to our regularly scheduled program of political jackass, right? But one of the things that but this was something that I've actually wanted to do a video on this for a long time, ever since I thought of starting a podcast channel, because I think this is just one of those things that we just have to talk about. One of the things that really frustrates me is when I hear people say, it's time for us to have an honest conversation about gun control. And then usually the thing that takes place after that is a very dishonest conversation, right? So I have I've looked into this a lot, guys. I've read a lot of reports. I've listened to a lot of documentaries on mass shootings and things like that. And one of the things that we constantly hear, or the constant debate regarding mass shootings, is this a mental health crisis or is this the gun issue, right? And the thing that really just kind of frustrates me is that this is clearly a mental health issue, and all the data and everything is staring us right in the face, guys. And for whatever reason, we're choosing to ignore it. And actually, I know why they're choosing to ignore it. And the reason being is that mass shootings and gun control is kind of turned into a political dog whistle, right? It's something that people can go ahead and say that it kind of helps decide which team you're on, right? Whether you're on the left or you're on the right. So, but in the meantime, while politicians are trying to utilize this to form teams and constitute and voters and we're the ones that will continue to suffer, right? Now, I'm telling you guys this right now. No doubt about it. This is a mental health crisis, okay? And I'm going to do my best right now to give you guys some information that I think will I'm going to give you guys the information. You can kind of draw to your own conclusion on it, right? But in my belief, this is a mental health crisis. And this is based off of not just my opinion, but based off of the hours of data I've collected, and I'm I'm just going to leave you guys with some information right now, okay? And I just want you guys to go hear me out and tell me what you think, okay? From the 1960s to 1999, I want you to think about this time period, right? So this is about a 40-year time period, 39 years to be exact, right? But from the 1960s to 1999, mass shootings were not really a thing. They happened, but they didn't happen in the numbers that we have today, right? And even though the numbers are wildly over exaggerated in terms of mass shootings, because unfortunately they include gang shootings along with mass shootings, and they do that intentionally to basically kind of like to up the numbers. But that, again, that's a whole other discussion. But the number of mass shootings between the 1960s and 1999 were very few and far between, right? Now, if you think about that time period between the 60s and 1999, the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 1999, all the way to 1999, if you think about that time period, I want you to think about what guns were like in America at that time, right? You had access to fully automatic weapons. There was no magazine restriction. Ammunition was cheap and abundant. If there were prohibited possessor laws, we didn't have any type of real technology out there to actually enforce those types of laws, right? So really, it was kind of a free for all when it came down to to getting your hands on guns. Now, if this was a gun issue, then you would think that during that time frame, being that guns were so easily obtained, that mass shootings would have been through the roof, but they weren't. Well, what happened during that time? Well, 1999 happened. And what happened in 1999? That was the Columbine shooting. And after the Columbine shooting, our world changed forever. I want to give you guys some information here and that I came across. This comes from the National Institute of Justice, right? And these are just some bullet points that I pulled off of this this study here. But I want you guys to go ahead and listen to the information that I have here and tell me if you believe that this is a gun issue or a mental health issue. Okay, so again, this is the National Institute of Justice. The study covered a 50-year span between 1966 and 2019, and it looks like the study was concluded in 2022. At least that's the date of this article. During that 50-year time frame, there was 167 mass shootings. In that study, it was discovered that more than half of those shootings occurred after the year 2000, of which 33% occurred after 2010. 16 of the deadliest mass shootings in modern history occurred between 1999 and 2019, and eight of those 16 occurred between 2014 and 2019. Of all mass shooters, 30% were suicidal. Again, of all mass shooters, 30% were suicidal prior to the shooting. An additional 39% were suicidal during the shooting. 31% of the persons who perpetrated mass shootings were found to have experiences, 31% of the people who perpetrated mass shootings were found to suffer from severe childhood trauma, and over 80% were in crisis. The numbers were significantly higher for younger shooters, with K through 12 students who engaged in mass shootings found to be suicidal 92% of the time. In instances involving college students who were engaged in mass shootings, they were found to be suicidal 100% of the time. 48% of these mass shooters leaked their plans in advance to officers, including family members, friends, colleagues, as well as strangers in law enforcement. And in regards to the types of firearms that they're using, and this is for all you gun grabbers out there, 72% of the individuals who engaged in mass shootings used handguns in the commission of their mass shootings, not an AR-15. So for those of you who want to take away the AR-15, you're literally trying to take away the wrong gun. The data shows that many individuals who engage in mass shootings study past mass shooters. 1 in 5, which is 21%, studied other mass shooters, and many are radicalized online. So please tell me, guys, after hearing that information, how is this not a mental health crisis? It is staring us right in the face that this is a mental health crisis, okay? In none of the studies here did it ever say that a kid came across a gun, found it, and just said, you know what, I'm gonna go shoot up a school or a church. It doesn't work that way, right? What this study tells us, again, think about it, after 2000, after 1999 and 2000, what happened during that time? This was the internet boom. This is when kids started getting into chat rooms and AOL and started, kind of going down the deep, the ugly world of the internet, and started getting exposed to pornography and violence, and video games became more violent, and kids stopped, playing outside, and they stopped getting sun. And if you look at the data that I just read off right now, as the shootings became more and more violent, the technology in our cell phones and computers became more advanced as well. Guys, it's staring us right in the face. Our kids are suffering. Just look at the data surrounding kids who are suffering from anxiety disorder, depression, kids at very, very young ages, and numbers that we've never seen before. This isn't happening organically. This is happening because kids are addicted to technology, and they're becoming, again, as the study shows, they're being radicalized online. They're sick. They're not healthy. They're not doing well mentally. And for whatever reason, we have certain individuals that say that this is a gun problem. Healthy kids do not carry out mass shootings. So again, I'll say this: a mass shooting is not the problem. A mass shooting is the symptom of the problem, and the problem is the mental health among our young kids. Okay, this also comes down to a parenting issue, right? This is the kind of shit that happens when parents start letting tablets and phones parent their kids. They become depressed. They become addicted to the dopamine hits that they're getting from their phones. This is all, guys. This is not hard to figure out. As a police officer, I can tell you right now, when early in my career, again, I came on in 2002. The mental illness that we saw was usually from adults, and a lot of it was drug-induced psychosis. It wasn't. It was drug. Excuse me. Let me backtrack. It was drug-induced psychosis in adults, but you did not really see young kids being put on mental health holds. Now we see it all the time. I'm telling you right now, kids are off their ass right now when it comes down to mental illness. It is really, really sad to see. Okay, and again, you're also seeing situations where these kids are developing a mental illness, and their family has no past history of mental illness. It's, again, I'll say it until I'm blue in the face. The answer is it's a mental health crisis. It's staring us right in the face, and I don't understand why we are continuing to argue over this. we need to go ahead and start actually forcing addressing we need to get into the faces of our politician and get to the ears of our politicians and start saying, hey, look, you guys need to do something. We need to start putting restrictions on cell phones. We need to start making it we need to start restricting, the comment section. I mean, me personally, I think that any child who has access to a cell phone, the cell phone should be registered to like a juvenile, right? So you think about this, like, hey, if mom and dad want to buy a cell phone, is this phone going to be for your kid? Yes, it is. Boom, that phone is altered in a certain way where if where they can't download social media apps without the parents' consent, and any social media app that they get would be extremely neutered. Meaning that, let's say if mom says, okay, you could be on Instagram, but it'll be Instagram for kids, meaning that the content is going to be suitable for young people. There's no like section, there's no comment section, and there's no DMs. You have to make it boring for them. That way they're not interacting, and that way they're not getting bullied. I mean, because we hear about this all the time, online bullying, through social media apps. If you do things like that, we start addressing those issues, we start making technology less attractive. I think kids will get away from it more, and they'll start going out and getting their feet in the grass and getting the sun on their face. And that's how we're going to solve this problem. We got to get our kids away from social media. And parents, I'm telling you right now, man, I there was an incident. One of my friends shared an incident with me where she said that her a friend of hers decided to do a detox, took tablets and phones away from their kids. And she said that the reaction from their kids, she says, you would have thought that we took them like they were like we took them off their crack pipe. She said that they were screaming for their tablets, begging for their tablets, saying, Mom, please just give me 5 minutes, please. And I swear I'll get off. Like she said, they were like crackheads, addicted to technology. The other thing I'll leave off is this. When we talk about a solution, okay, I know people are going to say, well, will still disagree with me and say that this is a gun issue. Imagine this. Imagine if we were to ban guns tomorrow. Boom, just like that, snap of a finger. You can't get a gun anywhere. Are those kids no longer mentally ill? The kid who wants to commit a mass casualty incident, does that just go away? Or does that individual wake up saying, you know what, I still want to take out my classmates. I still want to shoot up a mall, a movie theater. That doesn't go away just because you took away the gun. They still want to carry out a mass casualty incident, and you bet your ass they're going to do it. They're just going to find a more sinister way to do it. And I'm not going to say what kind of ways they do it because I don't want to put any ideas out there, but we all know what kids can be capable of these days. The internet is a dark, dark place, and there's a lot of dark things you can find to do on there, right? So again, does it really matter if you had a mass shooting or a mass stabbing? Is it any less tragic just because it was done with a knife and not a handgun? It does, again, guys, I mean, we got it. Again, we talk about having an honest conversation. To me, this is about as honest as I can get. We need to address the elephant in the room, and that is our kids are addicted to technology in a way that is extremely unhealthy. They are suffering. They are crying out for help. We see it happening in front of us, but putting a tablet in front of them is a little bit easier than parenting. And again, I'm not a parent, and I know that it's probably offending you, some of you, but this is the fallout. And we have to have a real conversation about that. And for all of those people that think that, well, we're just going to go ahead and write laws, you cannot legislate mental illness. There is no law that you can write that is going to say, oh, hey, little Timmy is no longer suicidal anymore. This is a family issue, a parenting issue. And parents and we need to start protecting our kids from the dangers of social media. So all right, guys, man, I really wish that I didn't have to do a video like this, but unfortunately, again, I think it's just something that I really had to talk about, guys. And I hope you guys, as I give you guys this information, I hope you guys do something with it. Okay. I hope you guys go home and kind of think about, hey, you know what? Is my son or daughter on the internet a little bit too much? Do I really know what they're doing on the internet right now? I'm telling you right now, guys, I've seen some of the DMs that kids are partaking when parents come to the station to file a complaint against another student. And I'm telling you right now, man, kids are wilding out right now, and we have to be on top of it. Okay. All right, guys, I promise more enjoyable content is going to be on the way. But until then, guys, please, tell me what you guys think about this whole thing. Please, share this video with your friends if you felt that it had value. Leave a comment in the comment section, engage with me. Let me know your thoughts on the matter. I promise more uplifting content is on the way. But until then, this was just something that I just really had to go ahead and talk about, something I felt really passionate about and needed to get off my chest. But as always, guys, until next time, take care, God bless, and I'll see you on the next one.